Greetings everyone and welcome back to Let's Play A Link to the Past. It's time to tackle the first dungeon. Welcome to the Eastern Palace. This is pretty much Baby's first dungeon of this game. It's, well, I mean, I guess the Castle of Hyrule could count as the first official dungeon, but this is the first real dungeon where you collect an actual quest important item. And wow, both the right and left doors are dead ends already right off the bat. This dungeon really serves as a way to just teach you the basics of the dungeons in this game. You learn all about pushing buttons to make stuff happen, killing enemies in rooms, and all that kind of stuff that is the generic, or the general Zelda staple. This room's pretty interesting. It has a hole shooting balls at you. Occasionally it'll shoot a large one too. Now, you don't have to go this way that I'm going, but if you do, you're going to get some money. This chest over here contains 100 rupees, plus it's surrounded by 12 more rupees. So there we go. We're gonna have lots of money by the time we're done with this. It's gonna be great. We're gonna have so much money, we're not even gonna know what to do with it. There's a few skeletons down there, some Stalfos, and there's a giant treasure chest. I bet that's the item of the dungeon. So yes, the dungeon items in this game are pretty much all in those giant treasure chests, and we'll see what that's about when we get to it. The Stalfos, they like to jump to avoid you, and some of the later ones will actually throw things at you, but these guys are handled pretty well. The boomerang doesn't actually stun them, which makes sense since they don't really have organs or brains to be knocked unconscious. It does do some damage to them, but not as much as your sword. What does do a lot of damage to them, though, is pots, for whatever reason. Pots do a lot of damage in this game. Whenever you're given them, just use them. Seriously. I know I mentioned in a previous video where you can only carry 10 arrows. That's obviously not the case, because now I have 20. You can actually carry up to 30 arrows at the beginning of the game, and 10 bombs. So there. And we got ourselves a compass. Now the compass only does one thing in this game. It just shows you where the boss is. Without a map, we really can't tell how to get there, so kind of pointless. What's this? Huh. Alright, so these tiles are in most of the dungeons. You can use them to telepathically speak with Sahasrara. He will tell you things about the dungeon. That's about as close as you get in this game to a sidekick. And as you can see, that treasure chest we can't open yet because we need a big key, apparently. Alright, I'm gonna go in these pots. If you get a chance in any dungeon, you want to jump in these things, because most of the times they contain helpful stuff, like fairies, for example. We're gonna show off the bug-catching net. You can use that to catch fairies, keep them in a bottle. The other one, I tried to catch it, but whatever. I'll just take one. Fairies in this game, if you use it out of your bottle, it will refill your life all the way. If you leave it in your bottle and you die, it will come back and revive you if you're dead, but it won't fill all of your life. It'll fill most of it, and if you have as low life as I do right now, it usually will fill it all the way up. Although I'm probably wrong. I haven't died recently in this game. Anyway, it's better to just make a lap around that room than try to go back and take on those enemies. Those enemies don't really do too much damage to you, but they do drain your magic when they hit you, and that's not too fun. The object of this room is to find the key, and it's hidden under that pot. But it will take whatever else is in here. Anyway, I was speaking earlier about sidekicks. At this point in the Zelda series, we've only had 3 games released. We had Zelda 1, Zelda 2, and this one, and none of them actually had this sidekick idea that followed you around and helped you out with every little thing. That kind of got a little bit more prevalent in Link's Awakening with the owl that would follow you all over the place. And it got just really out of hand with Ocarina of Time. So, at least we're free of that for now. Killing all the enemies in this room removes those enemies from that pot, which opens up the button, which gives you the big key. So now we can open lots of other doors. The big key is used to open doors that look like that up there at the top of the room. It's like a skull kind of looking deal. I don't know. Anyway, it also is used to open up the giant treasure chest, which contains the item of the dungeon. So as you can see, this dungeon is really simple. Now, when Sasrala said we can use the dungeon item to kill armored foes, he was speaking about those green guys that we see at the top of the room, and the bow and arrow can take them out pretty well. As soon as you get the bow, though, these guys drop down, and your best bet is just to run away from them and not try to fight them, because, as you can see, it can get pretty deadly, and they leave you alone after a while. Now, the bow and arrow I really like as a weapon. It does a lot more damage than your sword right now, and the only problem, though, is you have limited ammo, of course, and it has kind of it doesn't fire immediately, which makes sense, like he's drawing the bow. But if you're not good at timing, you're going to get hurt. There's a key we got. First of all, though, I'm going to go over to this door on the right. Because there's money in this room! Yes, it's just a money room. Avoid the enemies, though. That's all there is to it. You don't have to do that room if you don't like, but I like money, so I'm going to take it when I can get it. The only reason I didn't light up the room is because I didn't feel like switching to the lantern for that one thing. I can see what's going on pretty well. Alright, in this room we have 3 of the armored knights to deal with. The green ones are handled with just 1 arrow. We're going to see some red ones later on. They take more hits to kill. The green ones can be killed by pots, though, and the red ones, they cannot. Only one of the buttons in that room works, and I happen to hit it first. And only one of the buttons in this room works, and I didn't find it right away, but I found it there. Alright, when you see that, I guess it's like a ram's skull on the floor, that means you're getting really close to the boss. You're on the right path, and the boss is coming up really soon. So we're actually almost to the end of this dungeon. This first one is pretty short, but obviously it would make sense. For being the first dungeon of the game, check out this spin move action. Holy shit. Ferris is a motherfucking pro. I still haven't gotten the pots don't kill the red ones hint by here, but they don't. Alright, so one more stock up, and we're gonna go fight the boss of the dungeon. Alright, so this dungeon's boss is 6 armored knights wearing bull costumes or whatever. You could slash at him with your sword, but killing him with the bow and arrow is much easier and much faster. It takes 3 arrows to kill one. Once you get down to one final one, though, it's going to go a little berserk and do its second form thing, which is it turns red and it tries to stomp on you. However, it is also handled very easily. So that's it. Once you kill an enemy, it drops a heart container and the dungeon thing. This was the Pendant of Courage that we were asked by Sasrala to collect, so we're going to return that sucker to him. Prove to him that we are a motherfucking adventurer. Hell yeah. And 2 pendants remain. Only 2 more till we get the Master Sword. Alright guys, that's going to be it for this time. I'll see you guys next time for a little in-between dungeon crawling. See you later.